Rowlands starts right now.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Outside the Box Score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the Score 1260. Solo show today. Josh Boheim unable to make it in this morning, so it's just going to be me today. Phone lines open the entirety of the show, 315-671-1260. That's 315-671-1260. If you want to call in, call during the breaks, and I'll screen your call and bring you on after. If you don't want to call in, but you want to interact with me, you could always go to twitch.tv/marker_box. You could go to my Twitter account at marker_box, or you can go to the Score 1260 YouTube channel. The show is live streamed on all three of those platforms every single week. Got a camera set up in here, talk in the chat, bring up whatever it is that you might want to talk about. So make sure to go to those three platforms. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitch and Twitter. Pat says, what is that shirt? Yes, Pat, I am wearing my throwback Bills sweatshirt that I got a couple of years ago at a Bills game. It's a beautiful piece. It's a Nike. Pat said I'm not allowed to wear this. Well, too bad. I know I'm a diehard Philadelphia Eagles fan, but also go Bills. Plain and simple. It's go Birds and go Bills in my household. So it's just the way it is. It's what happens when your father's a Buffalo Bills fan. Do have a lot of things to talk about in the world of sports. All of the major awards for Major League Baseball have been announced. We'll go through the MVPs and Cy Young winners. No surprises based on all of those. We do have SU basketball playing today. No SU football. They're on a bye week. But we do have SU basketball today. They are on at 3:30 today on Peacock. And they are taking on Drexel from the Xfinity Mobile Arena in Philadelphia. Jim says Josh running late. Nope, he's not here. That is all. So it's just a solo show today. But SU basketball, currently a 12.5-point favorite against Drexel, according to ESPN. ESPN Bet, which, by the way, rest in peace. An app that no one used and ESPN poured a lot of money into. Pat, I'm not reading that chat. Topics today, Pat, are like I was saying. SU basketball. We are going to talk Emmanuel Clase and this unbelievable gambling scandal going on in Major League Baseball. Let's bring that up right now. So, sports betting is, now that it's legal, there are still many illegal things you can do. And a couple of pitchers on the Cleveland Guardians, Emmanuel Clase included, one of the best closers in baseball. The guy throws a 102-mile-an-hour cutter. Him and another pitcher on the Guardians were involved with an illegal gambling ring that was based on prop bets where people were live betting the outcome of a singular pitch in an at-bat. So it would be the first pitch to be a ball, or the second pitch to be a strike. Mainly ball, because you can't really fix throwing strikes. And so they would bet that, like, okay, this pitch will be a ball. And then the pitcher would throw a ball. And these were not, $1 million bets. These are bets for like a few $1,000s that these guys were getting a cut of. Emmanuel Clase, like I said, arguably the best closer in baseball, was on his way to a massive payday. And he made like 12 grand or something on some of these bets. And yeah, no, Pat, they were maxed at $2,000, I think, and now Major League Baseball is maxing them at like $100. They're like, I know Major League Baseball is currently working with the books to max out what you can bet on these props because of this scandal. And so they get caught up in this. They get caught and are now facing years in prison. Years. Pat says, I honestly think we should get rid of most prop bets. I don't disagree. Now, I'm someone who's taken a prop or two in my day, but I don't think we need them. I do not think prop bets are necessary. Pat says, James Franklin to Virginia Tech, by the way. Is that official? I know they were talking. I haven't seen official hiring yet. But if so, that would be very interesting. Is Class A the first pick in the prison baseball draft? Probably. He's up there. He's certainly up there. Yasiel Puig is also in consideration in that one. Jim says prop bets aren't the problem. Well, the problem is the normalization of sports betting. No, Pat, Puig is not currently in jail, but he was also caught up in an illegal gambling ring a couple years ago for something different. Jim says prop bets aren't the problem. I think a big part of the problem is sports betting becoming so normalized in our society. Like I just mentioned briefly, ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, as they would like you to believe, which they are, poured millions of dollars into ESPN Bet. It was Penn National Gaming. It was they originally ran Barstool Sportsbook. Then they were no longer involved with Barstool. And then ESPN, they partnered with ESPN to make ESPN Bet. That's already done. Starting in December, ESPN Bet is gone. Plain and simple. They had it for maybe a year, and now ESPN is partnering with DraftKings, which is a whole nother can of worms, because guess who else is partnered with DraftKings after they split with Penn National Gaming? That's right, Barstool Sports. And Barstool Sports and ESPN have this long-standing rivalry, and now they're going to have to do things together, probably, because these sports books love to have all of their partners do content together. And it's just crazy how we've seen sports gambling work its way into everyday life. People that were never gamblers before. And I'm not trying to gatekeep sports betting. Yes, I've done it for a long time, but I'm not trying to be that guy that, oh, if you didn't go through a bookie, then you shouldn't gamble on sports. It's just something that I know people that are, I know young people that are going through their parents' apps, and, it's part of life that I never expected it to be this normal. Even when it got legalized, it got so much bigger than I was expecting. Pat says betting apps are low-key not profitable. FanDuel and DraftKings just have such a stranglehold on the market. And that's true. Personally, I'm a FanDuel guy. That's the one I've used the most. Now, when it became legal, I used all of them. But that was because they all gave you free money. And I either used all of the free money or I won and then withdrew from those accounts. So I stuck with FanDuel and DraftKings for a while. And then shout out Naira Bets. Absolutely. Use that as well. That's how I bet on the ponies. So I kept FanDuel and DraftKings because they're the two biggest. They're the earliest adopters, kind of, because they go back to the daily fantasy days, which I used to do when I was in college before sports betting was legalized. And so those were the apps that I was the most familiar with, going back to weekly fantasy for football, daily fantasy for baseball. You hop in a $5 game, you pick your players under a budget, that whole spiel. And So I kept FanDuel and DraftKings. I used both for a long time, and then I switched only to FanDuel. But you had Caesars and BetMGM and Three Rivers had one, and like I said, ESPN and Barstool were with Penn National. There were a million of them, and the only ones that really matter are FanDuel and DraftKings. So we see these apps sort of go away after a while. My dad still uses BetMGM, but Caesar Sportsbook, I don't know anyone that uses that anymore. At Three Rivers, I don't know anyone who uses that. And of course, you have your offshore books, which I've used those in the past as well. Like Jim said, it's the only way to bet on Syracuse in this area. And so all of this just being part of our daily lives, we see it leaking into the sports themselves. Now, gambling scandals are not new to Major League Baseball. Obviously, it goes back to the 1919 Chicago White Sox throwing the World Series. You have Pete Rose gambling on Reds games. But we're seeing it more and more now. We just saw one in the NBA. We've seen a few in the NBA with Terry Rozier and all sorts of guys. And we're seeing it in Major League Baseball. It's going to happen in the National Football League. Pat said Colby Just Baseball has a big partnership with BetMGM. Oh, good for them. Shout out Colby Olson and the guys at Just Baseball. Great guys. Colby is an awesome dude. I've talked to him many times. And so good for them. But BetMGM in this part of the country, at least, isn't super popular. I don't want to say we need to go back because these guys will always find a way to gamble on games and, fix these at bats like Emmanuel Clase was doing, which is still ridiculous. Like, yeah, bet on the second pitch against Nick Kurtz to be a ball. I'm gonna spike one. Put $2,000 on it. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? It's too easy. There's too much access, and they're too closely linked with the leagues themselves. FanDuel Sports Network is the broadcast partner for 8, I want to say, Major League Baseball teams. You watch them on the FanDuel Sports Network. It's insane. And I haven't placed, I've placed bets on horses because I have money in my Naira Bets account that I just can't take out because it's an awful system that they have. So, and I haven't bet on sports in a couple of months. And it's something that I've done for, like I said, years. I haven't done it in a couple of months because part of it is, I don't know, part of the fun seems gone. It seems gone now that anyone and everyone does it, and it's just shoved in our face constantly. I don't love watching the World Series and they throw the betting lines up on the screen. Why does your casual baseball fan need to know that the Dodgers are minus 165? They don't. And with it being so tightly linked to all of these sports, we're just going to see more and more scandals and more players that are going to waste their talent by ending up in prison. Like Emmanuel Clase. It's just too much. So that's my take on Emmanuel Clase and this absolutely absurd illegal gambling scandal going on with Major League Baseball. Maybe it would have happened through an offshore book. Maybe. I'm not saying that there's zero chance it would have. But it just seems too easy to access. with these legalized books. That's all I'm going to say. We got to take a timeout. We'll be back in a few minutes here on Outside the Box Score, your home for local sports in Syracuse on the Score 1260.
ABC Wednesday. It's the CMA Awards live. That's what
Yeah, Pat, it's just insane. Like, I'm watching MLB Network, and they're putting together their same game parlays, and which, by the way, they're not just promoting sports gambling. They're promoting bad sports gambling. I get it. I love a good parlay. I like to see small number go to big number. That's fun. But they're promoting bad gambling, if that makes any sense. All gambling is bad. I think we can admit that. We're all gamblers here. I think we can admit it's not the best habit to have. Yeah, Barstool is too much with it. But all of them are too much with it. It's too much. Like, if you're going to promote gambling, I know, if you have a problem, call the number. They have that at the end of every commercial. It's always in the fine print on the screen. I understand. But what are we doing? Like, I understand the point of Barstool, but every piece of Barstool content is now just gambling of some sort. Yeah, I watched the entire Internet Invitational, and we can talk about that too, because what an electric piece of content. If you like golf and YouTube golf, Rip Beef, R.I.P. Beef, absolutely, Cody B. Frankie, legend, rest in peace, went out on top. But I watched every second of that series, and it's like 12 hours long. And that was good, but still, I'm watching it, and I'm like, wow, this is really good golf. And they get to a par 3. It's the 9th hole at one of the courses at Big Cedar Lodge. I don't remember if it was Paynes Valley or not. It gets to the 9th hole. And they're like I said, it's a par 3. This hole is the Birdie Blitz sponsored by DraftKings. The over-under is set at 3.5. It's the 9th hole. Every other match is over. Every other match going on is over. There are 4 people on the course. Therefore, it is impossible on this hole that you can't actually bet on. They just say the over-under is 3.5. It's not an actual line. You can't actually bet on it, but it's the Birdie Blitz hole sponsored by DraftKings. Why do that? First of all, why do you make the sponsored gambling hole the 9th hole in 9-hole matches that are likely to be over? Unless every single match goes down to the 9th hole in match play, which very rarely happens. What are you doing? Buddy smashing through the fence immediately after picking up somebody's ball couldn't have been written. Yeah, Fasoli, tough look. And we're back outside the box score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the Score 1260. So we talked enough about the state of sports gambling in our modern society, which is it's everywhere and starting to get annoying. Let's talk about something that, to use a gambling analogy, a few locks that happened in the Major League Baseball awards that came out this week. Your 2 MVPs, same as it ever was, just like last year, Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. Congratulations. No one is surprised. Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani, both very deserving of this award yet again. Judge hit .331 with 53 home runs and 114 RBI. Shohei Ohtani hit .282 with 55 home runs and 102 RBI. OPS plus of 179. Aaron Judge's OPS plus, an absolutely ridiculous 215. Yeah, Aaron Judge led all of Major League Baseball in WAR yet again. He is putting up numbers that we haven't seen in a long time. We're getting to the point where this is maybe better. It is better in terms of power numbers than Cardinals Albert Pujols. Like, on an absolutely absurd run these past few years, Aaron Judge, when playing more than 130 games, here are his home run totals: 52, 39, 62, 58, 53. He's got 368 home runs in 10 years. He averages 52 home runs per 162 games in his career. 52. Stone, I agree. Stone said, I wanted Raleigh to win, but you can't take it away from Judge with that stat line. I 100% agree. I would have loved to see Cal Raleigh win this award. What an incredible season by the Mariners catcher, who set the record for home runs by a catcher. He hit 60 home runs this year. He drove in 125, both leading the American League, the 60 home runs leading Major League Baseball. An incredible season from the Mariners catcher. And yes, I would have liked to see him win it too. But hitting 247 is not going to get it done. And it was close. It was close. Judge won by 20 total vote points. He got 17 first place votes to Cal Raleigh's 13. And Cal Raleigh, of course, also a great defender behind the plate. Aaron Judge, no slouch in the outfield himself. But 9.7 more, leading all of Major League Baseball to 7.4. And 7.4 is a great season. A great season. But it really just wasn't that close in terms of who had a greater impact. Aaron Judge was the best hitter in all of baseball this year. No two ways about it. Then Shohei Ohtani wins his 4th MVP award. 2 in the American League, 2 in the National League. He is now 2nd all-time in MVP wins. Only one person, Barry Lamar Bonds, has won more MVPs than Shohei Ohtani. And of course, we know the story with Mr. Bonds. But he won 7 of them. Shohei won his MVP unanimously. All 30 first-place votes going to Shohei Ohtani. That is the 4th time he has won the MVP unanimously. I said 282 with 55 home runs, 102 driven in, 146 runs scored, 20 stolen bases, 109 walks. And oh yeah, a 2.87 ERA in 47 innings pitched after coming back from Tommy John surgery. Next year, he is going to pitch the entire season. Next year, he is going to win MVP unanimously again, barring injury. People like to talk about the downfall of Major League Baseball. People like to talk about how it's not, it's not the great American pastime anymore, which, fair. More people watch the National Football League than watch Major League Baseball. Facts are facts. Those people who claim that this sport is dying do not watch this sport, because the game is in such a place right now that I feel like it hasn't been in a really long time. Pete Alonso, who finished 11th in MVP voting, hit 272 with 38 home runs and 126 driven in. There are so many great players in the game right now. Julio Rodriguez finished 6th in American League MVP voting. Junior Caminero, who's like 22 years old, hit 45 home runs with 110 RBI. Riley Green, young up-and-comer for the Tigers, 36 home runs, 111 RBI. It's the game really is in a good spot. And I hope, and we saw this year during the World Series, viewership went up. It was a great series between the Blue Jays and the Dodgers. It once again outviewed the NBA Finals, which the NBA seemed like it was starting to, maybe creep up in popularity on Major League Baseball, but baseball's got it back. So more viewers than the NBA Finals, and by a wide margin. There's so much talent in the game right now. I haven't even gotten to the Cy Young winners yet. Tarek Skubal winning his 2nd in a row. Won the Triple Crown last year. Almost won it again this year. Won 13-6 with a 2.21 ERA in 195 innings. Struck out 241. And so he wins back-to-back Cy Youngs. Paul Skeens wins his first National League Cy Young. And trust me, if he stays healthy, it will not be his last. He finished 3rd last year as a rookie. 10-10. That's how bad the Pirates are. With a 1.97 ERA, 187 innings pitched, 216 strikeouts. A hilarious 5.1 strikeout to walk ratio. Skubal's even funnier, 7.3. Struck out 11 per 9, only walked 1.5. With all this young talent, and Paul Skeens is going into his age 24 season, probably going to win his 2nd Cy Young. With all this talent right now, it's a good time to be a baseball fan. It really is. Even my Boston Red Sox won more games than I expected this year. Stone brought it up. Cedar Rafael robbed of the Platinum Glove Award. Just going to throw that out there. Garrett Crochet finishing 2nd in Cy Young voting. It's a good time to be a baseball fan. And congrats to all the major award winners. I have a strange feeling that list isn't going to change much next year. We might be talking about 3 straight MVPs for Judge and 4 straight for Ohtani next year, because they are showing no signs of slowing down. Aaron Judge, now 32, 33 years old? 33 years old. And just had arguably his best season. I love it. I hate to see Yankees succeed, but God, Aaron Judge is fun to watch. But I still wish it was Cal Raleigh. That's just my personal opinion. I wish he won it. Judge deserved it. It was a great season. I just wanted to see Cal Raleigh win the MVP. Take a timeout, come back. More to talk about here on Outside the Box Score.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're
There's a sports betting page on Syracuse.com. Boo. Big triple header at the JMA Wireless Dome today. Yep, I'm on time, Jimmy.
all the holiday season festivities in downtown Syracuse, featuring entertainment from Sydney Irving in Trump Tight 315. This year's event is made possible by the City of Syracuse and Hyundai Cicero in Drivers Village. The new Manlius Cantina by Taco Bell is bringing the heat and throwing the ultimate Friendsgiving party, and you're invited.
Real chatty today. I wasted all my good stuff on the sports gambling rant during the last break. Also, it's hard for me to come up with things to talk about if you guys aren't chatting. That's what the break's for. And we're back outside the box score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the Score 1260. Big triple header. The JMA Wireless Dome today, starting at noon right after this show. We've got the sectional championship finals. 3 games being played today in high school football. General Brown and Cazenovia will play for the Class C sectional championship. That one is the first game starting at 12. A little bit of SCSD representation. ITC, the Institute of Technology Central, went 9-1 this season. They're playing New Hartford in the Class B sectionals. And the big one, the rematch from last year, the rematch from earlier this season, when Christian Brothers Academy handed Liverpool its only loss of the season. CBA and the Pool going at 6, playing for the AA sectional championships. I'm just going to double check because last I checked, CBA was ranked number 1 in the state for football. So I'm going to double check and see if they still are. The most recent rankings, yes. They are ranked number 1 in AA high school football in the state. The other CBA in Albany is ranked 11th. I'm just looking to see, and Liverpool is ranked 19th. So a top 20 matchup of teams in the state going against each other today. ITC ranked 10th in the state for Class B. So shout out ITC. Like I said, good to see some Syracuse City School District representation in there. Of course, go Cougars. SU basketball playing today at 3:30 in a game against Drexel. Jim, you tagged me in the tweet earlier saying that the line was 14.5. I'm seeing it at 12.5 right now. And you said it doesn't seem like enough points. And I wholeheartedly agree. I don't know too much about this Drexel Dragons program. I know they beat Widener to start the season and then lost to St. Joseph's and Colgate. I know they are 1-2 on the season and probably not going to come out of the CAA conference. But 12.5 points? SU's played 2 not great teams this season. But hell, they beat them both by 40. 85-47 over Binghamton. 83-43 over Delaware State. I've seen people talking about SU's defense as one of the better ones in the country thus far this season. So for scoring 80 points a game and giving up less than 50, what is it about this Drexel team that leads to SU only being a 12.5 point favorite? What does Vegas know? This is the question that we always ask when we see lines like this. What does Vegas know? Because if I was currently in a part of my life where I was gambling on sports, that seems like a line I would hammer. That seems like a line that I would absolutely go nuts for. I know it's in Philadelphia. It's not at the Dome. Like I said, they're playing football at the Dome today, just not SU football. They're on a bye. It's just weird to me. But hey, SU has their first road game of the season. Let's see if they can take down Drexel. I really like what I've seen out of the Syracuse squad so far. I really do. That last game against Delaware State, only giving up 17 points in the first half. I know it's Delaware State. La-di-da. I'm not going to sing the praises too high. But when I see a team that shoots 58% from the field and 38% from the three-point line, boy, it makes me happy. Donnie Freeman, 20 points, another great game, 6 of 8 from the field, grabbed 5 boards. William Kyle, a gutsy 8 points, but grabbed 13 rebounds, had 4 assists, had 6 blocks in that one, and a steal. Freeman had a block. Nate Kings had a block. Nate George had a block. Tifing Diawara had 2. Sadiq White had 1. Coming off the bench, 5 for 7 from the field for Sadiq. 4 rebounds, 10 points in 24 minutes. Everything looks like this team is going to be good. They had 10 steals and 12 blocks in that game. The defense looks like it's legit. They're going to the right places. They're doing the right things. They're making the right switches. All things that you couldn't say about SU teams in the past few years. The one thing I will bring up, we're really only going to shoot 52% from the free throw line. 11 for 21. Now, I know this is classic SU basketball. This team has never been able to shoot free throws, but they're literally free points. They're free points. Now, I can't shoot a free throw to save my life, but I didn't spend my entire life up to this point playing organized basketball. Get a scholarship to go to a good Division I university. Kai and Anthony, what are we doing, man? 1 for 4. And he mentioned it after the game. He had 19 points. He went 8 for 11 from the field, 2 for 4 from deep. Had a really good game. 4 assists in the absence of J.J. Starling. Had a really good game. And he mentioned after the game, he was like, I missed 3 free throws. I can't do that. So good on you, Kai and Anthony. But to quote my friend and former Syracuse Sports Talk radio host, writer for Syracuse.com, hashtag free throws matter, Mr. Brenax. Just absurd. 11 for 21. I don't know, man. But hey, let's just go and beat Drexel by 40 again today. And keep playing that good defense. Keep scoring the basketball. We haven't seen SU look this complete in a long time. They've got depth. They've got, like I said, seemingly a good defense. I'm excited for the upside with this team. I really am. Now, come middle of January, when we're hovering around 500, and Donnie Freeman isn't going to come back, and Kyan Anthony isn't going to come back, and Sadiq White says he's going to transfer. Come that time, I might change my tune because that seems to be what keeps happening with this SU team. I get my hopes up way too high early in the season. Then they play a couple of tough opponents, and they look like garbage. I still have nightmares about that Tennessee game from last year. Hopefully, we can get some revenge this season because we're playing Tennessee again. This time at the Dome. But we've got 2 more cupcakes. We got Drexel and Monmouth. And then it's Houston, Kansas, and Tennessee, and whoever else are going to play in that Las Vegas tournament where they're playing Houston and Kansas. But we've got the number 1, number 25, number 20 team in the country 3 games in a row. Houston currently ranked number 1. We'll see. We'll see how this team can perform against actual top competition because they haven't played any thus far. And we're not easing into it. It's not like, after Monmouth we'll play Clemson. play a power conference team, or we'll play Georgetown or something like that. Nope. You go from Monmouth to the number 1 team in the country, who's going to play really tough defense. So you probably won't be able to score 83 or 85 points on them. You're just going to have to win a close one. But hey, let's see this team make the tournament, huh? It's been a few years. I think it's time for Syracuse to get back into March. Maybe get in there as a 10 seed and make the Final Four again. Who knows? Who knows? A lot of basketball season left, but as of right now, I'm excited and I'm confident in this Syracuse Orange team. Let's see if they can keep it up. Take a timeout, come back in a few minutes with more here on Outside the Box Score.
Hi, I'm Maria Solano.
Got no Ozempic ad playing right now. Jim, what's going on in the Annika? That's something I expect you to be keeping up with. I was just checking to see if our Kevin Roy is currently tied for 16th. Our boy. He's even par on the day through 11. 5 under on the tournament. Ooh, 66 yesterday. Attaboy, Kev. See, this is what blows my mind with him. He shoots even par in round 1 with 5 birdies and 5 bogeys. His scorecard on the back 9 was bogey, birdie, par, bogey, 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 par, birdie. End on a high, I guess, Kevin. He's just got to stop making all those bogeys. God, he makes so many stupid bogeys. This, of course, in the Butterfield Bermuda Championship, which is going on right now. When's the first, good tournament? See, the RSM is next week at Sea Island Golf Club. And then after that's the Hero World Challenge in December, which, of course, is Tiger's tournament. Yeah, Josh isn't here with any hot takes, Jim. I'm not the hot take guy typically. That's his thing. I never liked the take artist route. Mark's more hot to go. It's a cool shirt, man. That's all it is. No, Pat, I didn't hit the bottle last night hard, actually. And we're back outside the box score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the score 1260. We were just talking during the break. Pat asked if I had a night last night, and the answer is no. I will say I was woken up quite early this morning, 5:45 to be exact, by my new puppy. Yes, I have a puppy now. His name is Fry. He is a mix between an Irish Wolfhound and a Doodle, and probably some other things. He is a mutt, but he is adorable. And I have had a dog. I probably should have texted you, Pat. But yeah, I got a dog on Monday. I will send you a picture right now, Pat, because of course I have many. He is adorable. He's very cute. He is Stone mentioned it. He is, yes, going to be an absolute unit. We just took him to get fixed yesterday. So on Thursday. So he's currently in a cone, which makes him even funnier looking. And he just keeps bumping into everything. And he has provided me much entertainment over the past couple of days. Pat says he's awesome. Yes, he is. He is so cute. But that's why I'm a little tired this morning. I was awoken by a dog needing to go outside at 5:45 this morning because he is a puppy. So he's 3 months old. He's going to be a big boy. We think he's going to be about 85, 90 pounds when he grows up. So he's not going to be a small dog, but he's great. I've had him, like I said, since Monday. He's fantastic. He likes to chew things that are not his chew toys, namely your legs and your hands and your pants and your shirts and the couch and the fern that we have. He's all over the place, but I love him. He's a cute boy. He's a really good boy. So yeah, little life update there. I got a dog. For the first time in my life, I am a dog owner, and it feels great. Anyway, enough personal talk. Some NBA news. The Pelicans fired head coach Willie Green. Pelicans have started the season 2-10. Zion Williamson has played just 5 games due to a hamstring injury, something he's had in 4 straight seasons. They lost 3 of their first 6 games by at least 30 points. It's been a tough look for the New Orleans Pelicans. I feel sorry for Josh, who placed a wager on their win total over 31.5 before the season started. Yeah, they're not good. Stone said, not Zion. My Zion would never miss games for a hamstring. It really is a shame. The talent level that Zion Williamson has, the guy that we saw at Duke, the guy that torched Syracuse. The best part about that game is still Mark Dolezaj taking a charge against Zion Williamson. Mark Dolezaj, 6'10", about 168 pounds, soaking wet, taking a charge from Zion and hitting the floor so hard. But the guy we saw at Duke, the guy who was the guy, he was the number 1 overall draft pick. He goes to the Pelicans and just refuses to stay healthy. For a while there, refused to stay in shape, but we've got fit Zion now. Zion was looking trim before the season, for Zion. He's a very large human being. And he just can't stay healthy. It really is a shame. I would have loved to see him have a long, healthy career, but he plays like 30 to 40 games a year, and he's on an absolute dumpster fire of a team. And yeah, I feel bad for him. Willie Green fired. Like I said, they started 2-10. They are not good. So this is what it says. The Pelicans were the first team in NBA history to lose 3 of their first 6 games by at least 30 points after allowing at least 120 points in 5 straight games to begin a season for the first time in franchise history. So the defense stinks. The offense stinks. Zion Williamson is hurt. Nothing is going right in New Orleans. James Borrego will be the interim coach for the Pelicans. He used to be the head coach for the Charlotte Hornets back in the day. He was a finalist for the Lakers and Cavs head coaching jobs in 2024. The Knicks and Nuggets offered Borrego lead assistant jobs during this past offseason, but he decided to stay in New Orleans, probably because he had a feeling that he might be named interim head coach. This was Green's 5th season as the coach of the Pelicans. He went 150 and 190, but did make 2 postseason appearances in 21-22 and 23-24. Zion this year is averaging 22.8 points, 7 rebounds, 4.5 assists, and 2 steals a game this season, by the way, but has been out since November 4th after suffering that hamstring injury. Well, sorry, Josh, but I will say, for any gamblers out there, do the Pelicans play today? Let's see. Let's see when their next game is, shall we? Because it'll fit perfectly. Yes, they play the Warriors on Sunday, so tomorrow at 7:00. They don't have a line here on it yet. Bet the Pelicans. I always bet a team after they fire their coach. Doesn't always work, but is a precedent I have set for myself. And so I will say, give me the Pelicans on the number against the Warriors Sunday at 7. I'm not actually going to bet it, but if I was, that would be my bet, because I always bet on a team that just fired their coach. And it works way more than it should. Stone said, let's just fuse the Hornets and Pelicans together and bring the Sonics back. 100%. Give me a team with LaMelo Ball and Zion Williamson on it. Move them to Seattle. Give them those sick uniforms that the Sonics used to have. Bang. NBA is fixed. NBA is fixed. Jim said, wait, did the NBA start? Yes, it did. We're like 12 games into the NBA season. My Celtics are 6-7. They are not tanking as much as I wanted them to. I was hoping they were going to tank to get a draft pick, and then we could come back with a top 5 pick, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and win another championship. But they won't die. Especially when you have teams like the Nets and Wizards who are both 1-11 and they're playing tomorrow. It's going to be terrible. DeBonsa is going to force his way here anyway. Doesn't matter what pick you get. I don't know, man. I was hoping for the tank. I don't know how you felt, Stoned, as a fellow Celtics fan. I was hoping for the full-on tank to pull a Spurs. Is what I call it. To pull a Tim Duncan to the Spurs. Yeah, Stone was also hoping for the tank. Yeah, the team is not fun to watch. Not fun to watch at all. So, I don't know. Maybe they just don't win a game the rest of the season. That would be great. That would be fantastic. Get in that lottery, baby. Come on. We got to take one more time out. We'll come back and wrap things up. Maybe talk a little college football on the Score 1260. Yeah, Jim, I was just looking at the slate. It is a good slate today. Go through some of those games. Oh, Clemson beating Louisville last night. And my Oregon Ducks, of course, dominating Minnesota Golden Gophers last night. Yeah, Notre Dame Pitt's going to be a good one. USF Navy should be a good game. Navy, I know they've lost 2 straight. Got demolished by Notre Dame last week, but that should be a good game. Yeah, Bama, Oklahoma. Oh, yeah. Iowa, USC. ACC is a dumpster fire, and SU can't take advantage. Yeah, I know. But one time, like, the ACC is so wide open. Doesn't matter. And Jelly got hurt.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. wasn't good with languages, but now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. Babbel.com. Hey, Central New York, want to save big? Quick sweet deals at the Score 12.
Let's see, Virginia Duke,
50% off or more on amazing local favorites like
NC State, Miami. Who knows? Miami's a 14.5-point favorite. Who knows what that team's going to do? I mean, yeah, you got Virginia's 8-2, Georgia Tech's 8-1, Miami's 7-2, Pitt and Notre Dame are both 7-2. Like, and we're back outside the box score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the Score 1260. Big college football slate today. Some really good games out there. Bama, Oklahoma at 3:30, same time as the SU game. Notre Dame, Pitt, big game for ACC ramifications. Pitt looking to go 8-2 so far on this year, but so is Notre Dame. Speaking of ACC games, a bunch of them today, obviously. Miami, NC State. Miami 7-2, but who knows what's going on with that team? NC State could beat them. NC State's 5-4, only 2-3 in ACC play, but Miami's only 3-2. Miami currently a 14.5-point favorite. That game kicks off at 3:30 as well. Another 3:30 kick, Georgia Tech and Boston College. Georgia Tech currently probably the class of the ACC. It's between them and Virginia. Virginia's 8-2. They're taking on Duke. All these games kicking off at 3:30, by the way. So a lot of stuff to watch. Virginia Duke on ESPN2, Georgia Tech Boston College on ACC Network, and NC State Miami on ESPN. And then, of course, at 4:30, we've got to have on everyone's favorite broadcast network to watch the ACC, the CW, UNC, led by Bill Belichick, going into Wake Forest. Wake 6-3 on the season, UNC 4-5. Who knows what's going on with UNC? They're not very good. Then Virginia Tech and Florida State later. Clemson beat Louisville last night, 20-19. Okay, Clemson, sure. You're just mediocre. We thought Louisville was good, but the ACC is wide open. And it's a shame that SU can't be a part of that conversation because of Angeli's injury. So it sucks, but it's just the way it is. SU, like I said, not playing today. They're on a bye. Oregon beat Minnesota last night as well, 42-13. Oregon moving to 9-1 on the season. But some other good games today. You've got Navy in South Florida. That should be a fun one. Noon kick on ESPN2. Texas A&M is taking on South Carolina. Indiana looking to continue their perfect season. They're playing Wisconsin today. And number 1 Ohio State at home against UCLA. That game tonight, 7:30 p.m. But maybe the best game of the day, outside of Bama, Oklahoma, which is a great game. Georgia in Texas, in Athens. Arch Manning having an okay season. Better than it looked like it was going to be at the start. Texas, number 10 in the country, going in Georgia, take on the number 5 team on their home turf in Athens, Georgia. That should be a fun one. Georgia currently a 4.5-point favorite. I also wanted to mention in that Alabama game, Bama a 6.5-point favorite over Oklahoma. Ty Simpson having a great season, 2,400 yards, 21 touchdowns, and just a pick for the Alabama quarterback. So a lot of good college football games today. Got SU basketball at 3:30. It's a really fun day to be a sports fan. I'll say it. The sports are good right now. So sit back, relax, maybe have a couple of beverages and watch some sports. We'll see you next week. Same time, same channel, right here on the Score 1260, 11 a.m. Peace.